Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Good actions, pure motives. Matthew 6, verses 1 through to 4 says, Take heed that you do not do your charitable deeds before men to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do a charitable deed, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly. Hey, Mr. Coach, why are you in the business of coaching high school football? Are you genuinely interested in that school becoming football champions for the state? Or are you building your resume to really become a college football coach, greater salary, greater recognition, fame, TV star? Are you doing this because you want the scouts to be around and see how good you do it so that they can check you out? Or what about the preacher who preaches because he really wants people to recognize him and to commend him and to praise him? One wonders if such a preacher is really in the pulpit to win souls for God's kingdom, or is it that secondary to his own meteoric rise within the fraternity of preachers? I want us to see the very clear principle of giving to those who are in need. Jesus taught extensively on giving. It's controversial, but he stressed it throughout his ministry. This principle demands a strong degree of humility and sincerity. He talks about the hypocrites who do good for the poor, but they have to have lights, cameras, actions. In the first segment of this difficult teaching, Jesus issues a warning. Do not do good for the purpose of gaining publicity, because you will not be rewarded in heaven. In other words, check your motives before you do an act of benevolence. You are doing it for the Father, and he wants you to never forget that. Secondly, and I must make this point clear, it must be understood that you will give to those in need. As a child of God, it goes without saying that you will give to the needy. That is part of your kingdom ministry. Well, here is the principle of giving to those in need. As an individual, you don't need an announcement, which means that you don't make it about you. That is the reality, that when some people give with announcement, they are making it about themselves. They need the proverbial marching band and the parade. They want the whole world to know. They are simply looking for affirmation and praise from people around. Why? That is what the self feeds on. Listen to this. Every act of kindness, every act of giving to those in need must be done in love and must communicate love. It does not matter if it is giving something to the guy at the intersection or an intentional act. Whatever is done must be done in love. And here is how that love is to be seen. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. This is not to be debated, my friend. Give and give in love. I must confess that there are times I want the person who I give to make a song and dance in expressing their gratitude. Seriously, Clyde? Jesus does not even want you to have that expectation. Your gift must not come with conditions and expectations. It must be wrapped in love, filled with love, and given in love. The third thing is rather amusing, at least the words that Jesus uses. He says that when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. I hope you find the humor in that imagery. But let us consider what he said. Literally, if the gift is coming from the right hand, then the left hand must not see and know that you have given to a needy person. In other words, you don't have to consult the committee. You don't have to advise them. You don't have to invite them to be a part of it. That is because Jesus is inviting you into a dimension of giving that is radical and most impactful. Do you notice that Jesus inserts a principle that he uses elsewhere? Or so it seems. Remember what he said in Luke 6 and verse 38. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. Think about it. He says that when you give, it will be given back to you, and in excitingly creative ways. If you give with ulterior motives, then you're going to get back with that kind of reward. God will honor your giving by giving back to you. In other words, God will reward you for giving. So if he's asking you to not let the left hand know that the right hand did the giving, then he's saying to you that your reward must not come from the left hand. Your reward should not come from the left hand, from the people in your life. Your reward must come from God. Therefore, if you compromise your giving by doing it and telling the left hand, then you have diminished your reward. And yes, it will be given back to you probably with words of praise and commendation, but it would be so less than what God would have given back to you. So my friend, when you give, do so with a pure motive. Don't do so to receive accolades from people around. Leave the reward to God.